At $249, we'll see if these two EcoFlow panels are a good buy for you. We'll check out the construction of them. We'll also do some accumulation tests and see how well they perform with the EcoFlow Delta 2. Both of these solar panels are brand new out of the box, and one thing I did notice is that how well it was packaged is probably one of the best I've seen so far. But one thing I noticed right off was the front of the panel and the cell configuration and how many bus bars are in each cell. As we take a look, this is one of the cells on the front of the panel, and each one of these silver bars is a bus bar, and they normally come in 5, 7, or 9. This one has 10 all the way across, so I'm curious how well this performs. Now, I know packaging may not seem like a big deal, but most solar panels are packaged poorly. This one's double protected on the corners with these little plastic caps, which I think I'll keep, and they put a protection film all the way around the frame, and they also include a manual as well. As we take a look at the specifications on this panel, it is a little bit small on the back, so I'm going to put these up on the screen and we'll go over them. These 100-watt solar panels come in with an open circuit voltage of 20.3 volts and a short circuit of 6.3 amps. The max P is 17.1 volts and a max of 5.9 amps, which we'll test later. And this has a max system voltage of 600 volts DC, and it is a Class C panel. As we take a look at the junction box on the back of the panel, it's actually been filled in with a potting material. This is real popular in ECUs, inverter boards, and more, but we won't be able to take a look at how they connected it, so we'll move on to like the MC4 connectors that they use. And these are the newest style with a quick release, which I hope more people start to use these ones for the portable panels. And when we look at the cable length, this comes in at just a little over 40 inches. They also use a 2.5mm cable, which is 14 gauge wire. Okay, testing time. So we're going to test these panels to see how well they perform. I put them out here about 20 minutes ago, so they should be getting heat soaked. I'm going to try to make sure that we're pretty close to STC standards, at least as far as how much light is hitting the panels. This light meter shows us that we're at least over 1,000 on STC standards, which I'm not really a fan of because it's certain standards, but it's not realistic. But we'll make sure that both of the panels are pretty even as far as how much light is hitting the meter square, and then we'll go ahead and do our open circuit voltage test, which right now this was just at 19.2, but as the panels get hotter, it dropped down just a little bit, so we're at 19.1 volts here. And this one literally was just 19.1 and it dropped to 19. Oh, and it's almost trying to drop a little more to 18.9. And they may even drop another 0.1 or 2 depending, because it is pretty hot out here. It's about 90 degrees right now. The skies are pretty clear. There is a slight haze, so I don't expect the best performance out of it, but it is hot and I'm sure my dog is annoyed and ready to go back inside. Okay, so we'll test out these two panels first, and we're going to have both of these connected up to these little load testers, and we'll look at the one closest to me first, and I'll get a close-up here so you can see. So that yellow number up top is our voltage at 18.5 volts. This is the farther panel at 18.4, and it's down just a little bit less. We'll come back to this one, and now this one's at 18.4 volts. So now what we'll do is we're going to end up setting these up for a constant current load, and we'll do an accumulation test and see how far the spread is. Basically, we're checking to see the quality control and the build of both of these panels, and so far I think it's going to be pretty close, but I'll start these up and then we'll take a look at the numbers real quick. So both of these are going to be at a constant current load, and I'll get a close-up here for you. So at the top it's 5.9 amps draw at 14 volts almost. You can see the green is at 5.9, and we're going to be looking at the purple number down there to see how many watt hours we get after a certain amount of minutes. This is the farther panel from me, and you can see it's pretty close. Almost all the numbers are really good. Both of them are drawing about 81, 82 watts, which is the red number. So we'll let these sit for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like as far as the spread. Okay, so it's been about 6 minutes, and we're going to take a look, and I'll get a close-in shot here. We'll start at the very bottom so you can see how much time it's been running. So the little white number is about 6 minutes and 18 seconds, and the purple is 8.2 watt hours so far, and the red is 78 watts. We'll take a look at the farther panel now, and again, we'll look at the bottom. So the time is about 6 minutes 30 seconds and 8.3 watt hours, also about 77, 78 watts. I'll go back to the other one real quick. Look at the watt hours, 8.5 watt hours there. So far they're staying really close together. Again, look at that, 8.6 watt hours. We'll glance over at the other one real quick. So 8.6 and also 8.6. So far these are staying right on with each other. Now it's only been about 6 minutes, but still that's pretty good. Okay, so now we'll see what it looks like when you're plugging it into an EcoFlow Delta 2 power station. So the closest panel next to me is showing 78 watts. We'll also take a look at this power meter here so we can see our amperage at about 5.4, 5.5 amps, 14.6 volts, and 80 watts, kind of like the load meter showed. Okay, now we'll do the same test and we'll check the farther panel. So we'll look at our EcoFlow power station. We'll check the wattage coming in, showing about 77, 78. And I'm noticing it seems like that farther panel is putting out maybe 1 watt less. It's definitely not a lot, but let me know what you think in the comments below. But 1 watt can also be a lot of different variables as far as angle and more. So as far as this goes, it seems to be pretty darn close as far as at least quality control. But we're going to go ahead and put these in series and just to take a look and see how well they do. Okay, so these are both in series. So theoretically, we should get about 160 watts. And let's take a look. And right about 158, 159 coming right into the EcoFlow power station. Take a look at our meter and about what it should be. Our voltage is now doubled up from 14.5 volts roughly to about almost 30. And our amperage is still the same because we are in series. So overall, what do you guys think about these two panels? I think they did pretty well. And be sure to leave a comment down below and check out one of these two videos.